Good afternoon, dear students. Today we will discuss another chapter. Till now, we have completed 2 chapters. I hope you are going through the chapters, and if you found any problems, you can ask me. So, today we start chapter number 9, this soil. Now we know what is soil, we can see it everywhere. It is one of the major components of the earth. In this chapter, we will learn soil formation, that means how soils are formed. Next, soil profile. Soil profile means we learn what is found inside the soil. Soil means not only the part which we can see in the surface of the earth, but it goes beyond of this layer. Different various layers are found below the surface layer. In soil profile, we will learn what are the layers or what are the components found below the surface. Today we will discuss only soil formation process and soil profile. The other topics will be discussed in the next class. Those other topics are properties of soil. What are the properties a soil can exhibit? These are the next, soil conservation, how we can conserve soil. Next, composition of soil, types of soil, and soil and crops. These topics will be covered in the next class. Today we will only discuss about soil formation and soil profile. Now, before starting the chapter, let's discuss what is soil. Soil is an important natural resources. Now, what is resources? Resources is something that gives us benefits. Resources can be natural, can be man-made, or humans are also resources. We can say human resources. We will discuss what is human resources and what is others in some others day. So today we will discuss what is natural resources. Natural resources are the resources which we obtain from the natures. That means nature gives us those resources. And to be a resource, it must have some good properties. It must do some benefits to the animals or plants or the living things on the earth. So some examples of natural resources are water, soil, air, etc. are some natural resources. Why? Because it gives some benefits to us. Water is very essential for lives. We cannot live without water for a day or two. Similarly, if water is absent in the atmosphere, can we imagine that we can live? No, we cannot live without air also. Similarly, soil is also a natural resource. We cannot live without soil also. Now, how we are depending on soil? Firstly, some animals like microorganisms, protozoa, bacteria, ants, these animals lives in the soil. They take their foods from the soil. So without soil they cannot live, because they live in the soil. Food is coming from the soil for them. And again, if we discuss about the tree, we know tree grows on the soil. Tree receives all the water or other nutrients from the soil itself. Only sunlight is received from the sun, but to make the food for the tree, it needs sunlight as well as water and other foods which they receive from the soil. So soil is also very much essential for trees. Trees can prepare their foods from soil. And crops, we human beings are feed on crops, and crops are also grow in soil. So every animals in the earth is directly or indirectly depends on soil. How we human beings are dependent on soil? We are not directly dependent on soil. We don't feed soil, right? We don't take feed as soil, as food, but we eat some animals and vegetables or trees. Okay, so those vegetables or those crops grow on soil. Without soil they cannot grow, so what we will eat, right? So soil is important for us. Similarly, we human also eat some animals also. For example, we eat meat, right? So where does meat comes from? From some animals. Those animals, what does that animals eat? It eats trees, or you can say crops, or you can say grass, etc., which grows on soil. So basically we depends on soil for live our lives. So now you can understand how much soil is important for us, or why soil is a natural resources, what benefits it does for us. Now let's discuss another topic, that is formation of soil. That means how soils are being formed. Soil formation does not take place in only one day or in some hours or in some days or months. It is an ongoing process. That means from time immortal, it is a process that is going. So to understand how soil is formed for the first time, we will discuss about the time when in the earth there is only rocks were found. That means at the beginning of the earth, only rocks were found in the earth's surface. At that time, no soil, no plant, no animals were found. Only rocks were found on the earth's surface. You know, the earth we are living today is not like same from the beginning time. At the beginning, it was not suitable for any living organisms. But as time passes, some changes occurs here, and it becomes suitable for living organisms. So what happens at the beginning time? At the first time, the earth is covered by only rocks. Only rocks were found. Then the earth receives sunlight from the sun. It is a also very old process. When the earth was generated for the first time, till from that time also the earth received sunlight from the sun. When the earth was covered by rocks, at that time also our earth received heat or received sunlight from the sun. At daytime, sunlight was received by the earth, so it becomes hotter. At night time, sunlight was absent, so the surface cooled down. This process is a repetitive process. That means it occurs in every day, every week, every month, or in every year. Due to this repeated heating and cooling, that means in daytime it gets hotter, or at night time it gets cooler. This is repeated in a day also. For half of the day it is hot, for the rest of the day it is cold. Temperature difference is there every day. So due to this temperature difference, due to this repeated heating and cooling, the surface of the rocks develop some cracks. Some cracks were found there in the surface of the rocks. Then again this process happens. At night it becomes hot. At day it becomes hot. At night it becomes cold. So again this process is happening, and the cracks on the rock surfaces gets prominent day by day, and after some years it needs very long times. Okay, it does not occur in 1 to 2 months or 1 to 2 years. It needs thousand years to convert the rocks to soil. Okay, it needs a very long time to get crack on the rock surface, and the crack surface get enlarged, and then on that crack some trees were observed then. Okay, again, not only the sun has effect on this, the water below the rock surface, water was also present in the earth from the time that it generates. Okay, it receives sunlight from the sun. Water was also beyond the surface, but why this water cannot come outside? Because all the rocks covered the whole surface, so water was not be able to come outside. But when due to heat, due to sunlight, due to repeated heating and cooling, the rocks get cracked, the water also comes out from the below surface, and this water, due to presence of water, due to presence of heat from the sunlight, and in the cracks of the rocks some trees were generated for the first time. Thus, if in exams question asked how soil formation takes place, it is basically from rocks to soil convert. Okay, at the beginning time our earth was covered by only rocks, and heat was received by the sun at daytime. So at daytime the earth becomes hotter, and at night it gets cooled down. So due to this repetitive heating and cooling process, the rocks gets cracked. That means cracks were formed in the rock surface. Again, water was also there below the rock surface, so with the help of those cracks water can comes outside to the earth surface. Thus trees can generate there. Thus soil formation takes place at the very beginning. Now, the process of breaking up rocks into smaller and smaller pieces is known as weathering. It is due to the action of natural factors. What are the natural factors? Due to sun and water. First, what happens? Cracks are seen in the rock surface. Then, those cracks get enlarged, and then the rocks were breaking into smaller and smaller pieces. This is called weathering. After millions of years from the breaking of those rocks, the soil was found in the earth. As time went by, different plants grew on the land. At the first time, only a few plants were seen there, but as time goes on, different types of plant grow there. They grow and their remains mixed with the soil. When at a time the plants gets older, they died, and their remaining parts get mixed with the soil, and it make the soil fertile. This fertile layer is called humus. So what is humus? Humus is the remaining portion of plants, or you can say some animals that mixed with the soil and make the soil fertile. As I told you, the formation of soil is an ongoing process. That means it is being formed even today. Even today also soil is forming. So it is an ongoing process. It has no starting, no ending. Okay, so now you know how soil is formed. Now the next topic is component of soil. That means what is soil made up of. When we say soil, obviously it is not only one component. A soil contains different types of components. So how we will know what components are there present at the soil? we will do a test. In that test, we take a pinch of garden soil which is moist. That means something wet. Then we will mix it with a few drops of water. The wet garden soil is mixed with 2 or 3 drops of water, and then we will place it on a clean surface, and we can observe it with the help of a magnifying lens. If you have at your home a magnifying lens, then you can observe the soil. What you will find, you will see some sand grains, some clay, some silt particles, and some humus also. So how you will know which part is what components? When you see it with a magnifying lens, if you see some object which have some sharp edges, then you will know that these are sand grains. They are transparent, that means they have no color and are of different colors, and maybe possesses some colors also. That means it may be colorless or it may have colors. Next, if you see some flat particles, then it will be clay or silt particles. They are some flat particles, but they also have some sharp edges like sand grains. But how can you differentiate them with sand grains? They are not transparent and appear dark. That means they are not colorless, but they have dark color. Next, humus also appears dark, but does not have sharp edges and not flat. So when you see it through a magnifying glass, if you observe some sharp edges, these will be sand grains. And how you will know that these will be sand grains? They must be colorless or maybe of different colors. But if you see some sharp edges which are flat surface but not transparent and it possesses dark color, then those are clay and silt particles. And if you observe some particles which do not have sharp edges and not a flat surfaces also, but they also appears dark, then they will be humus. We have studied what is humus. Humus is the remaining parts of plant and animal body that get mixed with the soil and the soil become fertile. Now these are the main components of soil. What are the main components? Sand grains, clay and silt particles, humus, etc. are main components of soil. Besides all this, soil also contains air. Now where air is found? It is found in the spaces between the soil particles. In between two soil particles, there must be some air present. The animals and plants which grow on soil, which feeds on soil, receives air from soil itself. Soil also contains some amount of water. Plants receive water from the soil, we know. So water is present in the soil. Soil also contains minerals. These minerals are soluble in water. Plant receives those minerals along with the wet water to make their food or for their growth. So the other components which are present in the soil but not main component, those are air, water, minerals. All these components are essential for the animals and plants that grows on soil and feed on soil. For today, I think this will be sufficient for you. We will discuss the remaining topics in the next class. Thank you.